Welcome to the Online Digital Marketing Podcast. We'll be discussing marketing strategies, trends, and tips that will help your business succeed in the digital age. Every episode, we'll be interviewing industry professionals and providing valuable insights on how to leverage digital tools for maximum engagement and ROI. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest trends in online marketing.
Welcome to today's podcast and training on SEO. And I'm proud to say today we have a very special guest, and I'll introduce him for a second. If you don't know Matt Diamante, you may recognize him as HeyTony, which he has a story behind that as well. And Matt is the founder of HeyTony. It's today a multi-million-dollar SEO agency that's in Hamilton, Ontario. He built it from the ground up with no outside funding and no paid ads. He's also the #1 Amazon best-selling author of the book Get Found. And if you don't have it, I recommend you go over to Amazon and pick it up. It's a great, yes, there it is. It's a great book. It's really written and simplified what SEO is all about. And because of his online content that he posts daily, as well as the book Get Found, he has been able to grow an audience to over 600,000 followers across Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, daily through organic content. Please note what I said. It's organic content. Matt is not paying for ads. He's doing this organically. Matt specializes in helping businesses get found online through SEO and through content marketing. So welcome to the call today, Matt, and thank you for taking time out. I know it's your busy time. You just came back from vacation and you're ready to rock and roll. So welcome to our call.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I've been a fan of yours now for 2 years. I've followed you on Instagram and Facebook, and I love this stuff, and I've shared it on our Facebook group, which is made up of other entrepreneurs that are in our business. They're digital marketing agencies as well as some small businesses. So I've prepared some questions for you, Matt. And without further ado, a deer, a female.
Doe.
Okay, yeah. After I learn from you, I get a lot of dough. So let's get started, okay? Matt, let's start with this one. What are the most common mistakes that you find businesses make with their website or their content that hurt their chances of getting found on Google?
Yeah. So I think I'll just start with, in terms of the biggest mistake with a website, when a business builds a website or has somebody build it for them, is they don't really think about the person using the website. Like, make sure that your phone number is clear, make sure there's an email address, double check your contact forms, make sure all that stuff works, and make sure that you have a page for every service or product that you offer, because Google won't rank you if you don't have a page about that topic. The other biggest mistake is people just don't use the keyword on their website, on their pages. And in the places that you should be using the keyword are in your title tag, which is the blue text on Google, the meta description, which also appears on Google. That's the paragraph or the couple sentences underneath the blue link. And then in your heading 1 tag, and probably a heading 2 tag, and in the content itself.
Right. Now, you bring up a sub question to this. We're talking about being found on Google. Today, the big push is AI. That's all I see. My emails are loaded with, why get another AI program?
Yeah.
How does that relate to the AI? I know that I'm fortunate. I use a service that helps me with my blog posts, thanks to
Yeah.
Matt. I found a company that I use that writes it, and then they humanize it. They go in there and they look at it and then they humanize it. But one of the things came out was a little plugin that allows me to, I guess, answer the question, if you will, like what is it that AI is looking for so that you can see yourself ranked in AI?
Yeah.
That's becoming a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's um ranking on AI. So whether it's ChatGPT or Google or Claude or Perplexity or whatever it is, um, that's I want to say it's a whole different thing, but it's really more of the same. So how did you used to get ranked in like the rich snippets or the featured snippets on Google? By doing good SEO. And it's still the same thing. If you want to get recommended by AI, you need to do good SEO and you need to create content for real people.
Great.
Like if you're going to Claude or ChatGPT and you're saying, write me a piece of content, it's going to spit out some generic piece of crap that is never going to get picked up. It's not going to rank all that stuff. But if you inject your expertise and your experience into it and you're trying to actually be helpful and you are being helpful to real humans, that is how you get ranked in AI. And one thing that I want to add too is we used to with SEO, it's like write this like 1,500 words, 2,000 words, 3,000 words, all this kind of stuff. And the answer to whatever somebody's searching is somewhere hidden in there, right? So they have to read all of this, they have to do all of this. But I don't know about you, Marvin, but I feel like we're all a little bit time starved, right? We don't want to look through 3,000 words to find, oh yeah, here's the screw that goes into this thing, right? That's the one that I need to get. People don't want that. What people want is, um, I like here is the answer to your question. So if it's a question like, how often do I get my driveway repaved or whatever coated, right? The very next sentence that should be like, you should get your driveway recoated every 4 years or every year. Here's the product that you can use to do that because not only are people lazy, right? And it's not necessarily that we're lazy, we just don't have a lot of time. We're very time time starved. Does that make sense? We don't have enough time.
Yes. Yes.
AI is also lazy, right? They don't want to boil water somewhere when they don't have to. So they're going to say, okay, well, here's the answer to the question. I don't need to read the rest of this thing. Here's the answer to the question.
I think that's one of the reasons video became so prominent on a
Yeah.
thing, because people would rather sit there and be entertained with audio and visual than to try to read through everything. And everybody wants a shortcut. So
Yeah.
it's a big issue. And this plugin that I have on my WordPress site does that. It actually goes in, looks at your H1 and your meta description, and then it answers the question so you can paste it right in the beginning of your blog post. So that,
Yeah.
and by doing that, what's happening, at least in my case, tremendous stuff. I'm starting to show up more and more on AI. Now, talk about
Yeah.
talk about post size, because I know we're going to talk about blogging in a bit. Is there an average number that you believe is just enough for people to get the information that you're sharing? I mean, we're not writing it for Google. We're not writing it for
Yeah.
AI. We're writing it so people can get an answer and say, hey, I'm out here. I'm helping you. Please, if this resonates with you, please contact me and let's at least talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like a common misconception that people have with Google is they're saying, "Oh, I want to rank on Google." It's like you don't want to like yes, you do want to rank on Google, but what you actually want to do is help somebody solve a problem. So I just want to kind of reframe what SEO actually is, and it's not ranking on Google, it's not writing content, it's helping people solve their problem, right? People go to Google whether the problem is informational or they are looking to make a transaction and they're looking to buy something. Like if I have a leak in my roof, for example, I'm going to go to Google and say, I have a leak in my roof. What do I do? Right? Or how do I patch a leak myself in my roof? And then the piece of content is going to say, if you have a leak in your roof, you're going to want to get this type of tarp. You're going to want to nail it down with these types of nails, whatever it might be, if you want to do it yourself, right? That's informational. And then if somebody's like, okay, well, what products do I need? Then the problem that they're trying to solve, they're still doing it themselves. But then it's like, okay, well, here's the tarp, here's the nails, here's the, I don't know, caulking, whatever you use on a roof. Here are those products. So you can rank for those products, which are helping people solve the issue that they have a leak in their roof. And then finally, it's transactional. People are like, I have a leak in my roof. I want to hire somebody to come fix this. And
Okay,
that's your service pages.
that's great information. I mean, people don't understand. Recently, thanks to again working with you, I what I've found for myself was I've looked at my service pages. I've looked at all the basic um, foundations that I built on my website, and I realized it was all about me.
Yeah.
It wasn't, it's this is what I do. This is what I can do. This is, you hire me. This is what I'll do. And what I've done is I've gone in with the help of AI and I've asked it to rewrite a lot of my pages
Yeah.
about make it what's in it for them, not what's in it for me.
I think
And
that's a really good point too, because so somebody in my community was like, I stopped thinking about ranking on Google and started thinking, what is my ideal customer client looking for? And they're like, I changed my content, I changed the keywords that I was going after, and now I'm ranking number one.
yeah, I found that's certainly been helpful. My pages, I mean, and this is to share working with Matt, and I will say this: I have not hired Matt, but based on the free information that he provides online, I went from ranking 7 keywords as of yesterday. I'm ranking for 31 keywords on page one. 14 of those put me in the map pack.
Yeah,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, just unbelievable in a short 90-day period what I was able to do. And to add to that, I have a restaurant that I work with who was on page two for the longest time. We started to add a blog to his site, and it's not even 45 days later, and I've got two map pack rankings for 2 keywords for him. So
Yeah.
he's happy. And when I asked him for more money, he was happy to pay it. So I'm happy, you know.
Don't you love that?
Yes, I'd pay you more for what you're doing. Just do more of it. No
Yeah.
problem. So I've done that. Okay, so I know I mentioned this before because you've done so well. You have built a multi-million-dollar agency, and I stress the point again: no paid ads. Okay,
Yeah.
how did organic search become your main growth engine for your agency?
So I actually, well, the main growth engine for the agency is an organic search. It's social media, but we focus on doing organic search for our clients. And the way that I got into it, I actually went to school for advertising and marketing communications management, which is a fancy way of saying account manager, or account supervisor, account person. Um, the entire program gears you up to learn a little bit about like Photoshop and Illustrator and building a website using HTML and some social media and SEO and, buying traditional newspaper ads, like all that stuff, so that how long that stuff takes, goes into it, so you can be a better account manager. And for me, I took like in the SEO course, I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's like a puzzle, but there's like guidelines, but there's no like pieces. So you have to cut your own pieces and make your own picture. If that makes any sense, that analogy. And I was just like, I want to do this. This is great. And then I just fully went into that.
Right, right. So a lot of business owners think that SEO is too slow. I'm not going to say business owners. I'm going to be more honest. My clients, before they became clients, all had the same issue. What
Yeah.
is SEO? They want to know what is SEO? Why do I need it? Uh, is it technical, or am I going to understand it? If I hire you, are you going to make it simple, like I'm a third grader, so I can follow you and
Yeah.
realize what I'm paying you for? But the main thing they always ask is, well, I understand that it takes like 12 to 24 months before I'm going to see any results. And if you're charging me
Yeah.
$1,000 a month, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
gonna end up spending $12,000. I don't have 12 to, nor do I have time to wait because I waited too long to even get online and build a website.
Yeah.
So I'm behind the eight ball to start with. So addressing that, what do you tell them and where should they start?
So SEO does take a long time to actually implement, but if you're running a legitimate business, like you're not planning on only being in business for 6 months or a year. You're planning on being in business for 30 years, 40 years, right?
Right.
So when you look at it as like a longer approach, like yes, it's 1 year, um, maybe before you're seeing results, it's it's more of the long game with SEO. And Google does this on purpose because there's a lot of people who are spamming the search results, trying to rank, trying to get traffic, trying to make money and do all this stuff. And they're like, well, you know what? It's going to take 3 months. And most of the spammers get bored. They move on. They try some other scheme, some other scam. Um, and unfortunately for local businesses, or businesses in general, it takes time to rank, right? It takes time for Google, like they're crawling all the pages on the internet, not all the time, but to get into their index, they have like it's resources that they have to use, right? So they're not going to change the search results every single day necessarily, right? So it takes time to gain their trust.
The other side of that, the coin, as we say here in America, the other side of the coin is using a lot of the stuff that you teach and you profess. It is possible to get found in some cases, at least I found, like 30 days is a long time, but it happened like I have one young lady who, unfortunately, I don't see her in the call yet, but she did give me a question to ask you later. And she put up a blog post following your
Yep.
method. And in 4 hours, she
Yeah.
ranked in the number one position in the map pack.
Yeah.
So SEO is no longer necessarily, it's a long-term play for stability. Yeah.
Yes.
The stuff on the internet stays around forever. So yeah, it's a long-term play to maintain. And when Google changed the name Google My Business to Google Business Profile, a
Yeah.
lot of people thought, there they go again. They went from Google Places to Google My Business to Google Business Profile. What they didn't recognize and that we were able to identify, and I think I shared with you before, I had a relative who worked for Google, so I knew what was coming down. This was a big change because what they wanted to do is they wanted to beef up their advertising dollars to
Yep.
coming in. And what they did was they wanted to give the local business person an opportunity to rank against the big boys.
Yep.
So they figured if they move you around, and to this day, I do believe they don't want any company to be number one all the time. They're
Yeah.
looking for reasons to move you around. So when you drop out of the map pack and all of a sudden you're number three underneath the map pack and then number
Yeah.
seven and then you're gone, you go, uh-oh, got to advertise. And even though they say, no, this is not true, that if you advertise us, we'll give you, a little bump up in rankings.
Yeah.
I don't find that true because when I do advertise, I notice that the ranking on what I'm advertising all of a sudden moves. So
Well, I think that like that's a bigger part of SEO, or a bigger idea with SEO is that we talked about legitimate businesses having a long-term play, all that kind of stuff. And legitimate businesses get traffic to their website from a variety of different sources. It's not only Google, right? So if you're spending money, if it could be on Google Ads, it could be on social media, on Meta, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It could also be that you're sending people there from your email list, or people are scanning a QR code in your business and coming to your website or on a business card. And all of that shows Google like, hey, it's a legitimate business. They're not just trying to game the algorithm. They're getting traffic from all these other sources. And that does play a part in your ranking. So by spending money on ads, it could potentially impact your search results, assuming that people they click on your ad, they come to the page, and they do some kind of conversion and don't go back to the results.
I'll forgive you for going ahead and backing Google at this point, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another question and that is you're mentioning backlinks. How important are the
Yeah.
backlinks? And how do you go about getting them? Is there a free way? Do you have to pay for them?
Yeah. So let's just talk, like I mentioned this full analysis or this analogy, I should say, in my book, where so backlinks are very important because it shows trust to your website, right? It shows that other websites trust your website enough to say, like, hey, these guys have a resource about this, or these guys sell this thing, and they're linking back to your website. What that does is it shows Google that they can trust you, right? If other people trust you, then Google can trust you. And I'm gonna make a comparison here to, in high school when they're doing prom and there's prom queen, prom king, all this kind of stuff. The students need to vote for who that is, right? And there's going to be people going around campaigning and being like, "Oh, you should vote for, you know, him or her or whoever." And every person who is voting, so a backlink is basically like a vote for prom king or prom queen, right? Um, so every person who's voting carries a different weight because if like the cool jock guy that everybody looks up to is like, I'm voting for Matt to be prom king, that's going to carry a lot more weight. So although it's just one vote that he's doing and everybody's just doing one vote, his vote carries more weight because he's like the cool guy, right? And then you have like the regular students, whatever, that may not really care. They'll be like, yeah, I'm going to vote for that person. And it's like, okay, well, who are you anyways? Doesn't really matter. Those are like the medium tier websites. And then there's a different kind of vote, a different kind of backlink that you get from maybe the new kid or the misunderstood kid or the kid that gets into trouble, right? If that kid is like, "Oh, I'm going to vote for this person," other people are going to be like, "Well, if that weirdo's voting for, Matt for prom king, I don't agree with that," right? So that might have a negative impact. There's less trust with that. So backlinks are very, very important to develop trust and credibility with Google.
And to go
And
further with that, Matt, so a, part of my question then is, I know you have methods by which you can get free backlinks, which I love
yep,
because that certainly helped my rankings move up. Like I said, 20 something page one rankings. I mean,
yeah.
keyword rankings. Is there, is it necessary, in your opinion, excuse me, to pay for backlinks?
I don't recommend paying for backlinks. So there's a couple different ways to get backlinks. My favorite way, well, one of my favorite ways is to look at your competitors, see what links they have from other people voting for them, basically, and contact those places. Because if they're going to link to your competitor, they are likely going to link to you. So there's a tool called linkgap.io. And it's free to use. You type in your website and your competitor's website and it'll show you all the backlinks that they have that you don't. So you can just go contact those websites and be like, hey, I saw you were linking to this person. Would you mind linking to me instead or as well? If you can get them to remove your competitor's link and you steal it, that's even better. And then there's another tool called unlinked.io. And that tool, you put in your business name or your name and you put in your website, and it'll show you anybody who's talking about you online on a website. Who isn't linking to you. So if somebody's talking about me, Marvin, I'm going to go to that person. Like, let's say you post this podcast and you mentioned my name, but you didn't link to my website. I'm going to go, Marvin, hey, great podcast that we did. Can you add a link? And you're going to be like, yeah, of course. Right? Like, it was a great interview, or like, yeah, we talked about you, whatever it is. Like, here's a study, or here's my homepage, or whatever it might be. Um, yeah. Does that make sense? So there's
Absolutely,
those two tools.
absolutely, and honestly, I think a lot of times people forget to do it. In that we're using that type method. I've only done it now 4 times. 50% of those did link to me, so it
Yeah.
does work. But time restraint being, the fact that time goes by and I have other things to do, and I'm
Yeah.
doing so well with other things like my blog posts and my podcast that, you know what, I don't do as much of it as I should.
Well, so here's the cool thing. And this is my absolute favorite way to get backlinks is as you start ranking organically, right? So you're writing blog posts, you're answering questions, you're doing all that stuff. people will start reaching out to you because they want a backlink from you. They're like, wow, you're getting some authority, you're getting some traction. I want you to recommend my site. And when I get those emails, I absolutely love it because I'll respond with something like, Mama didn't raise no fool. I'll give you a backlink, but I need you to give me a link from another site. So most of
Fantastic.
these people, it's their job to link to find links for their clients. And I take advantage of that and I'm like, I'll give you a link for free, but I need you to contact one of your other sites and have them link to me. So it's not reciprocal. We're not going back and forth. It's a third site that's linking to my site and I'm linking to that first site.
I absolutely love it. You're making me think. That's not good this early in the morning. All right. So let's move on to this question. Google and AI search are changing quickly. We know that
Yep.
it's moving at faster than the speed of light. What
Yeah.
does that mean for the small business trying to get found online today?
Well, I think it all comes back to like being a legitimate business because a legitimate business is posting on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. They are writing blog posts, they are updating their hours, they're making sure that if it's a holiday coming up, they have special holiday hours or they're closed or whatever it is. So they're keeping on top of all of that, and they might also be, um, what's it called? I can't think right now. They might also be involved with local organizations who might be talking about them, whether it's on social media or their website or wherever. And with how fast things are moving, you kind of need to be everywhere, if that makes sense. So you need to be on socials, you need to be posting on your blogs, you need to have an email list and have people coming to your site. And being mentioned by other people, whether they link to you or not, there's still some value there. If like if I'm on the news, for example, talking about something, and the news clip underneath that says Matt Diamante weighs in about the effects of SEO in 2026 with all the AI updates and changes, Google algorithm, whatever. If they're mentioning that on their site, it's like, well, now AI is going to go, okay, well, Matt Diamante is talking about SEO, must be an SEO expert. And it's even better if they say Matt Diamante, SEO expert, weighs in on blank, right? So even though they're not linking to me, it shows that I'm a real person, I'm a real business, I'm out in the world, I'm making connections, and I'm trying to help people.
I think you brought out something really important. I've been at this now for 19 years, and my forte didn't come until about, I guess 2014, 12 years ago, where I enjoyed being on social media. And back then it was simply uh, what is X, Twitter, and
Yep.
Facebook. Instagram was just a thought that was sitting out there. TikTok certainly wasn't available. And I saw an opportunity working with clients to use social media as a place to share their expertise.
Yeah.
And back then, as the term matured, it was called the blue ocean. You know,
Yeah.
there was no one out there doing that, making posts, doing reporting, knowing, more important probably was knowing how to see the stats and the performance and then going ahead and showing that to a client for reasons that you want them to stay with you, but that you were
Yeah.
doing the job. Um, and so many of us, as the economy and COVID hit, kids weren't getting jobs, and they said to their parents, "Oh, you know, you own an electrical business. I can go online and I can do social media for you on Facebook and yada yada yada, and
Yep. Of
you could pay me so I could still live at home.
course.
Yeah, you know, I could live at home, eat your food. That's not part of what you're paying me, but you know,
Yeah.
and you know, I could do this." And we gradually became a purple ocean into a red ocean. Everybody and their mother, father, uncle, aunt, sister, and brother were doing social media, and it kind
Yeah.
of dried up. From what I hear you saying to us and the other listeners that will be listening to this podcast later, is podcast. Social media is an important avenue for you to be on. Now, whether or not you know where your audiences are, most of us don't.
Well,
So it's
Marvin, let me just say this. Your audience is on every single social media platform. Who's your audience? The real people, right? I don't care if it's the CEO on a yacht or if it's a small business down the street. Like they are on social media and they are scrolling, right? So the biggest thing that I do is I post the same content on like 7 or 8 different social media sites from like Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, LinkedIn, Snapchat. Oh my God, there's another one I'm forgetting. I post on all these different platforms, TikTok, and it's the same content. So I make the video once, I post it 10 different places. And then now I'm able to reach people who may be on those platforms looking for that content, or if it pops up in their feed, like that's another chance for me to get discovered.
Do you use platforms like Reddit and Medium and those types as well?
Um, Reddit, yes, but Reddit is more difficult because there's moderators there. And if they see you doing any self-promotion, they will flag you.
So just answer the question.
Yeah. So what I like the thing that about Reddit that I say that is kind of like a sneaky way to do it is make a Reddit account with your business name or your name as your username and just go and be helpful and answer people's questions, help them out, don't self-promote. And every now and then, you'll get clients.
Sounds good. Okay. So, you know, Get Found hit number one. That's the book that Matt wrote. And again, if you haven't bought it, go to Amazon. It's well worth the read. You'll read it. I was able to read it in less than a day.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
it's that simple. And the way I learn specifically is I'm a person that if I have a video, I watch or a video training of modules, I'll watch all of them first. Then I'll grab my pen and paper, go back where I can pause it, write
Yep.
notes. And then the third time is I look at the notes, I stop the video, and I execute on it.
Yeah.
The book was exactly the same way. It's laid out in such an easy way to follow and just to do the steps you recommend. It just made it easy. And again, results showed up in less than 3 days.
I love that.
I'm still blowing my mind with that, but that's okay. So my question is, what was the core idea and what are most businesses getting wrong based on your book Get Found?
So the core idea of the book, actually, the reason I wrote it is I have, and at the time had, a course called Understanding SEO, and that was going to be the original title of the book, but I was like, that it could be a little bit better than that.
Almost like
So
HeyTony instead of Matt Diamante.
yeah, so I took that course, and the first iteration of the book was like 20 or 30 pages. I'm like, this is not a book, this is a pamphlet, and it's maybe a little bit too technical. It needs to be easier to understand all this stuff because people who are taking my Understanding SEO course, which I think there's been like 40,000 people who have gone through it, which is insane, by the way. Um, I'm like, they want the basics, they want to understand what everything is and know, at least come into a conversation educated if they're hiring somebody. So I wrote the book for the business owner who wants to learn more about SEO, not necessarily do it, but if they read the book, they'll find out exactly how easy it is. And I wrote it in like at an eighth grade reading level, right? So a 12, 13-year-old should be able to understand it. I use a lot of stories and examples, and I'm not into the big technical stuff that everybody
I
is.
noticed.
We're not everybody, yeah. But it's like it really is at the end of the day, it's simple. Help somebody solve their problem. That's SEO.
Exactly. Exactly. So another question for a business owner who wants to grow organically with no ad budget, that seems to be everybody.
Yep.
What does a realistic first 90 days actually look like for that
It
business?
looks like nothing. Like in terms of analytics, like, and I'll tell you, Marvin, I like whether it's social media or SEO, like it takes time, especially if you're new. Like if you're the new kid in school, you're not going to show up and be Mr. Cool day one, right? That's going to take you a semester or two to be like, oh, this person actually has skill. That person can do backflips, right? That's really cool. Or that
Right.
person is actually really good at sports, or they are a great musician, or just a great person, whatever. Um, so it's going to take time, and people aren't just going to trust you right off the bat. And even as some people start to trust you, some other people are going to be like, I don't know, this sounds like BS, right? Nobody can be that good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, um, what I did when we were informing people about your presence and participation in the podcast what I
Yeah.
had done is I had asked if there was anybody who had some questions. So if you'll allow me, I did get several questions
Yeah.
before,
Let's do it.
and I'm going to jump in there and do that. So from Donna Norris, who's joining us live, uh, she asked the following questions. For a local service business competing in a handful of cities, what's actually moving the needle in 2026? Is it still the Google business profile optimization, or has the local algorithm shifted its priorities?
It is still the Google business profile. So if you are operating in multiple different cities, the way that Google wants you to do it is have like offices or like a location in each of those cities. And you should have Google business profiles for each of those. Alternatively and additionally, you should also have pages on your website for each of those locations that you're serving. That won't necessarily help you in the map pack, just having those location pages, but that will help you rank organically and get recommended. One thing that I'll say too is like if you have a Google business profile, say you only have one, and you're like, I'm operating out of all these different cities, that Google business profile isn't going to rank in those other cities because there's a business in that city who has a one Google business profile that is optimized for that specific area. And Google business profiles don't really work that way where it's like it's people looking for local stuff, right? It's not people looking for, oh, there's somebody, 2 cities away who does that, but they also come here. Like they want somebody local.
Yeah, that's where we go back to what I said before, why Google My Business was not as strong for the local businessman as when they changed the algorithm for the Google
Sure. Yeah.
business profile. Um, you mentioned the website locations. Are we talking about adding a navigational link with a drop down with locations?
Yep.
And then making a separate page for each one of those locations. And if you do that, what information should someone have to make sure that it talks about local presence
Okay.
there?
So I'll give you an example. So we worked with a florist and they were like, we deliver to all of these different small towns and cities, within an hour away, all these different places. And they're like, we want to rank for those places because, that's additional business. So what we did on their website is we created pages for each of those locations, right? I think there was like 30 or 40 of them. It took us a couple months. We created those pages and on each of those pages, we talk about the location. We talk that we deliver flowers there. We talk about, are there funeral homes, like places that people would need that thing, right? So for flowers, it could be a funeral home. It could be wedding venues. It could be hospitals, right? It could be all this stuff. So we're talking very specific local on all of those pages. And that's what you need to do. Like every page should be different. Every page should be speaking to that person's exact needs. So let's say you have like a water filter company, right? You sell water filters and you can install them in people's homes. Like I would phrase it differently depending on which area that I'm targeting because they might have harder water, they might have sulfur, or they might have something else in their water that this thing specifically solves that problem. Right? It might solve all the problems, but I'm going to talk specifically to, hey, you're in this town. I know the water tastes chlorinated. This gets rid of that flavor.
For one of the things that Google look at is prominence, relevancy, and
Yeah.
prominence. But another friend of mine in this space, people all know Paul James. Uh, Paul talks about when you do a page to put things like locations that are relevant to the thing. So, like he's down there in Winter Park, Florida, right now, and he's right outside of Orlando. So, of course, Orlando. If you're not ranking in Orlando and you service that area, he talks about using a page, but he talks about putting things like where we service, like you were saying, what we do
Yeah.
and the problems there, and respond to those problems, but also not far away from Disney, not far away from any of
Yeah.
the parks or local things, and therefore it makes your prominence stand out. That yes, you are familiar with the area, you know the area, and so I think that's something that we should be considering when we do these pages. Would you agree?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Donna's other question was, with AI content flooding the web, how do you actually tell the difference between, quote, helpful AI assisted content and the low quality stuff that Google's trying to filter out?
So it doesn't really matter if you can tell if it's AI like spam or crap, or if it's genuinely helpful. It's like whatever's ranking is ranking. Um, what I look for in content is where are they missing information that I can add and I can add that value, right? So if somebody has questions about a specific thing and you're like, well, this blog post or this page that's ranking number one is missing, you know, some of the most important information that somebody would need to know to solve their problem, like you're going to go in and add that to your piece of content to make sure that you're not just saying the same thing everybody else is, because if everybody else is saying the same thing, Google's like, well, this guy's already ranking. Why am I going to do more work? Right. So if you go in and you're adding your expertise, your experience, and like opinions about stuff, that's going to go a lot further.
Fantastic. Also, from Raul Chavan, he had asked me, or asked me to ask you, he's curious, how many months does the average local business owner stick with an SEO service?
I think it depends on the SEO agency. Like everybody has different churn rates. For me, I would say it's probably closer to a year. Um, and there's sometimes clients leave for a variety of reasons, but sometimes it's a bigger company and they're like, we're gonna put all of our uh, marketing agencies into one agency. So you can't do our SEO anymore, even though you're getting really great results for us. Like we can't do that. So I would say like on average, you're probably looking at like 11, 12 months. But we've also had clients for years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been doing SEO for a short period of time, but over the time that I've been doing it, I found that my average client seems to be. I've been with you for going on a year and a half, 2 years, and
Yeah.
implementing that took me from an average of about 6 months to 10 months, because it's really funny how people start getting results, and when they get results, they love it initially, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I got enough results, this is working great, I don't need to keep paying them.
I
And
got fired a couple times from clients who were like, listen, we have more business than we can handle. We're not paying you anymore. Stop doing SEO. And I'm like, well, shit, we did our job too good, which is great. Like they're getting their value there. But like, I think a big thing that you're touching on there, Marvin, is that business owners, the first thing that they cut when business is bad is marketing. And when business is good, the first thing that they cut is marketing,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
When business is good, you should be doing more marketing than you ever have before because you have money, you have the budget, and you don't know when that's going to go away or if that's going to go away. So when I'm busier than ever, my phone won't stop ringing. I'm like, I'm going to start making or keep making more content, right? I'm going to keep doing the thing. I'm going to spend more money on it.
it's very funny because way back when I was studying for my pilot higher and deeper degree, um, I had a professor who said to us, marketing is a very interesting animal. Just what you were saying, when business is good, they think they can cut back. And when business is bad, they don't think they have the money to spend to
Yeah.
do it. And they should always look at whether it's 5% of their gross number or 10% of their net. They should always set that budget to continue to keep it out there. In times of good times, he said you should have them increase their budgets to prepare, because it's going to happen for the bad times. So,
Yeah.
okay. Uh, we got another question that came in from Ileana Kane, marketing out in California. And she said, or asked, once I have a service page that I have uploaded to my website, is it best to link 3 articles? She's talking about blog articles, I believe, to form a cluster rather than just one article.
So there's a lot of SEO quote unquote experts out there who will say you need to cluster your content or you need verticals or you need all this stuff. Like you don't need to do all of that. What they're really talking about is internal linking. So Google is just finding related content. So when you post a service page, you want to link to probably another service page as well as one or two blog posts, right? So that's Google visits that page or somebody visits that page. Maybe they need a little bit more information to make a decision. They can click on the blog post or they can go to another service that might be related or more of what they're looking for. Now, on the flip side, when you publish a blog post, you should link to 2 to 3 other blog posts and one of your money pages. So when I say money page, I mean a product or service page. And that helps Google if they come in through the blog post, they're like, okay, well, yeah, here's a money page that must be important. They're linking to it a lot from a lot of these blog posts. We should probably rank that.
Matt, recently when I participated for my second round at Rank Week, you brought up a point about tags and how they
Yeah.
weren't as important when you're doing your posting.
Yeah.
What's changed? The tags don't seem to be,
So,
but categories seem to be the most important thing.
yeah. So I tell everybody not to use tags, and we're specifically talking about tagging blog posts. So you could say, like, this blog post is about headphones and Apple and music and sound and all. You can have like 30 tags if you wanted describing what that piece of content is. And back in the day, it used to be, okay, well, these words are on the page, so Google's going to pick that up and it's going to help you rank for that. But now what that does, every time you make a tag, that creates a page on your website that shows that piece of content or any pieces of content that have that tag. The reason why I say not to use tags is because everybody uses them improperly. If you have 30 tags or 10 tags or even 5 tags on every single piece of content, most of those aren't going to be the same tags across multiple different pieces of content. So you're creating very thin pages that aren't really useful to people. Again, it's not helpful to people, doesn't help them solve their problem. And Google's like, well, they have 1,000 tag pages and 100 blog posts. Like, I I'm probably just not going to crawl the site, right? That's a lot of pages I need to filter through and figure all that stuff out. So
Fantastic.
what I say is, like, keep your content into or put your content into categories instead of tags. So if you have 5 to 10 categories, every single piece of content you post is going to fall in one of those categories. If it doesn't, should you be writing it? Maybe not,
Right.
right?
Right.
So having those organized, now you can have, let's say, 5 category pages with content that is specific to that category that actually makes sense and that kind of ties everything together.
Right. Right. Going back to the Google business profile, Eliana asked that she's read that owners driving to a customer home in the GBP profiles will give a wider radius than for the retail businesses located in that
I
area.
haven't seen that because, like, how is Google saying, okay, like, how are they differentiating? You're just driving for groceries or you're driving to your friend's house versus a client's house. Like, Google isn't able to differentiate that. And it's not like you're putting into Google Maps, like, I'm going to a customer's house at this address. So that doesn't matter.
Yeah, good. Um, Brings up another interesting point, but it just slipped through my mind about that. But we also have a question here from David Huff. If you'll give me a second, I'll bring it up here for us. And David asked, how much does ranking content on YouTube increase your rankings on the actual Google search?
I don't think it really does. YouTube SEO is a whole different game that I don't have a ton of experience with, but just because you rank well on YouTube doesn't mean your website's going to rank well. What I will say is YouTube is semi-effective, where you can drive traffic to your website. So if you have a link in your description, that's technically a backlink. It's not too valuable, but it's technically a backlink and it can drive traffic, which can impact the search results.
Yeah. Um,
So
I wanted to cover my own question. We talk about different strategies, or, I'm going to call it what it is. You talk about it in the book, about the different reasons people respond to uh, to a blog post or questions, and that is you have like transactional, you have buyer intent, so forth and so on. Can you discuss those
Yeah.
points that you covered briefly?
Yeah. So there's different types of keywords and different type of intent. And I think this is a big thing that people miss when they're thinking about SEO is if you go to Google and you type in whatever keyword you want to rank for and a bunch of blog posts come up, right? So that means that that keyword is likely informational. So the intent is informational. People are looking for information to solve a problem or entertainment or whatever it might be. Now, if you go to Google and you type in something like emergency plumber Detroit, all of a sudden you're going to get service pages, right? So that's a different intent. People are looking to hire somebody right now, like it's an emergency to come fix their plumbing or come, stop their basement from leaking or whatever it is. So you have informational and transactional. Those are the two kind of most important ones. And you have other keyword intents like, oh my God, navigational. So navigational is something like if you type in Netflix login, that's telling Google, okay, well, this person's looking for the page for Netflix login, and that's showing the login page for Netflix. And then the last one is like the kind of comparison or what we call commercial keywords. And those keywords are people who have identified that they have a problem that needs to be solved. They know that they need to hire somebody to fix it or buy a product to fix it, but they're looking to compare options, right? So if I say, okay, well, do I get a plumber or do I hire an HVAC guy? I don't know. This is a terrible example, but do I hire, which one do I hire? It's like, well, here's what A does, here's what B does, here's the comparisons, here's all that kind of stuff. Or like I'm looking for a printer that prints really high quality, I don't know, photos, something like that. It can compare that kind of content compares those two printers or those like several different options that you can buy. And although it's a commercial keyword or a comparison type keyword, people are still looking to buy. So you may get business through the commercial keywords and the transactional keywords, but you can also get business. Actually, I'll tell you a quick story. I once spent $30,000 from visiting a blog post. So when I was building my community a couple of years ago, I was like, I can I do this on Slack, right? Can I build a community on Slack? Everybody already uses Slack, all this kind of stuff would be very easy. I'm like, what are the pros and cons to building a community on Slack? This blog post came up and I was like, here's all the pros. It's free. It's this, it's this, it's this. Here are the cons. And then in that piece of content, it's like, what you're probably looking for is an all-in-one community platform that does all of this stuff. And so I click on that because it's a link and it goes to another page on their site. And it's like, here's everything that our platform does. And I was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Cool. Book a call with them. I'm like, yeah, I want the app. I want all this stuff. And it was like $30,000. So you can generate business from blog posts, from service pages, from product pages, from collection pages, from social media. Like there's no telling what person or where the person's at in their journey and how quickly they might buy.
Matt, my final question before I open it up to those that are here with us live. Blogging, that's your specialty, really. I mean, you have pointed me in a direction that I wanted to go a long time ago because I love working with content. But blog posting, what are the key points? Like if a person doesn't have a blog, and I picked up clients, I started their blogs for them. They unfortunately have hired other people to continue the writing of them. But
Yep.
what are the key points that you would suggest to someone as a service? A lot of the people who are here live and who probably listen to our podcast recording, they're wondering, well, yeah, blog post, everybody has a blog, it's all the same stuff. How do you structure a blog for starting with a marketing agency like us that are on the
Yep.
call, or a business to marketing it as an important piece of the SEO puzzle?
Well, there's blogs play a lot of roles in SEO and getting traffic and getting leads, all that stuff. So the first thing is it shows that you're an expert. You actually know what you're talking about. If I go to a website and there's no blog, I'm like, do they actually know? Can they solve my problem? Right? And like a lot of the times you come into a website via a blog post. So every single blog post, every single page on your site is a door to your business. And I'm like, I want more doors, right? I don't just want like shitty doors. I don't want screen doors. I want like nice doors that people are going to walk through. So you don't want to do too much content. I would do one or two blog posts per week. Um, but some people will be like, I'm going to do 500 blog posts. I'm going to have AI do all this and create all these pages, all this stuff because I want more doors to my business. That doesn't work. You need to spend time and, actually create those doors, write those pieces of content and spend time making sure they're helpful. So it is more doors, it's more links, it's more ways that people can find your business. It also gives Google what we call topical authority about your website. So they'll be able to tell if you're an expert in that topic, if you post about it, if you have differing opinions, if you can actually help somebody solve their problem. Um, they know all of that stuff. The other thing that a blog post does is it allows you to do internal linking to your money pages. So an internal link is just linking from your blog post to your money page. So it's on your own website. And with an internal link, you can say, okay, well, let's say you're a plumber in Detroit, right? So you write a blog post, whatever, and then towards the end of the blog post, you say, if you're looking for a plumber in Detroit, and then link the words plumber in Detroit to your service page for plumber in Detroit, that is helping Google understand what that other page is about, what your money page is about,
Let me interrupt you
right?
for a minute because one of
Yeah.
the problems that I personally had in the beginning when I started to do that, I used to put, if you're looking for more information about social media and how you can outsource it, go to, and I would put HTTPS and my actual spell out the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, did your audio go? I can't hear anything.
Okay, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're there. Yeah.
So one of the things that I noticed was um, that I used to spell out the web page,
Yeah.
yes, and then you said in one of the trainings that you should just make it a link, so it's
Yeah.
a hyperlink that shows up in the post. Two things. Number one, it saved me time typing and then just putting a link in. But what I really noticed is I tracked the performance.
Yeah.
And what I noticed is you're 100,000% correct. When it shows up as a hyperlink, that little blue rather than black, more
Yeah.
people were clicking it. Is
Yeah.
is that normal? I mean, it was normal or eye-opening for me, but obviously that's what we do now all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's like think about if you're like on Amazon. I'll just use Amazon as an
Right.
example. You're like I was looking for these little wheels for like a curtain ceiling curtain thing and I'm like I can't find like I don't know which one it is. And then I scroll down underneath and there's related products. Right? So that's like a different kind of internal link. It's like a visual, it's a picture with text on it. And then you click on that and then it goes to the other page and it's like, oh, actually, this is what I was looking for. And then you buy that. Right? So you're giving people an option to maybe explore more products or services or find more information that might bring them a little bit deeper into that topic.
Fantastic. Matt, thank you so much. And before we close out today's podcast and training, I'm going to see if anyone has a question, please go ahead and raise your hand and we'll go ahead and we'll let Matt address those. But this has been certainly a pleasure for me. And when your next rank week comes around, I hope that the people, well, two things. Those that didn't buy the book yet, damn it, go buy the book. Number two, go ahead and follow Matt. And then number three, when rank week comes out, this guy is out of his mind. Uh, I'm sorry, Matt, but you're crazy. He will go ahead and walk you through 5 days of an intensive that is immediate results. Day one, people that did the exercise while we were on the call were getting results. By day two, they were ranking on page one. And you ready for this, guys? I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but $10, 5 days, average 7.5 hours worth of training, less than $1.50 a day.
Yeah.
And Matt covered so much great stuff. and he's always improving it. Matt, you're my idol.
Thank you, Marvin. That's all very, very, very kind.
Gee, you're
Dang.
actually blushing.
Yeah.
All right, we have a question. David, if you want to unmute yourself, go ahead and Matt, see if you can address this question.
Yeah, I put this in the chat too, but I have a client that has a very rich blog archive, over 600
Yep.
articles, and these are pretty substantial articles that he's, put a lot of thought into over the years, over, going back well over a
Yep.
decade. And he wants to move all of his blog, just because it's become so lengthy, he wants to kind of move all of his blog to a separate domain. And then
Bad
on his
idea.
main site, he wants to just keep the most recent ones. So do you
Why?
think it's
Okay. Like if you're moving everything over, like that doesn't make sense to move it to a different domain. But like what I would do is go through and see how many of those pages don't rank on Google or aren't indexed or whatever, and then just get rid of those pages. Because like there's probably a lot of bloat there that you don't need, and you're just wasting crawl budget on there.
okay? So you would just like look at the stats of which are worth keeping, and then eliminate the other ones.
Yeah, eliminate
And
or rewrite. Like when we get a client, the first thing we do is we look at, okay, is there any low-hanging fruit? Do they already have a piece of content covering that topic that either isn't ranking or isn't ranking well? And then we look at it and we're like, does this need to be like not Frankenstein, but like rewritten, or should we just delete it? Right?
okay, and what about creating a new domain just for the blog? Does
No,
that
that's
have
a
any
bad
value?
idea. Don't do that.
Yeah, that doesn't
what
have
about a
any authority.
subdomain?
I would think that's,
Like,
I'm sorry,
Same.
Matt.
Would you say the same thing for a subdomain?
yeah, why you like why are you moving it? Why are you touching it? Just leave it where it is and clean it up, right?
Okay, because that's going to be better for the main site ranking.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I just
David,
made your
thank,
job so much easier.
David, thanks for
Okay,
the
well, I
question.
mean, part of the reason was uh, using a separate platform for the blog. His main site's a WordPress site, and his blog is
WordPress
all
is
on
the,
WordPress
yeah, that's the best platform. I don't know why anything is changing.
now. Okay, so you think it's best to keep it there?
100%.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks, David.
David. Any other people want to raise their hand? Please do so now before we close out today. If not, again, Matt, it's been my pleasure. I know we can talk for another 2 hours and different things,
Yeah,
and hopefully you'll welcome the invitation again to come back and visit with our community and share an update
definitely.
what's happening. But if there's no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and at least I'm going to end the recording. Thank everybody. And I will like to add the following, Matt, if you will tell people the best way that they could reach out to you personally, your website, the link to your book, because I know David had to go look it up.
Yeah.
You see, you made him do some work today. You saw how comfortable he was in his office. So if you could go ahead and share those things with us, appreciate it.
Literally just go to Google and type in Matt Diamante or Matt Diamante book and everything will come up. That's it. That's the easiest way to do it.
All right. And how do people reach you, Matt?
Same thing. Contact Matt Diamante or contact HeyTony
They
and
could
you'll
join you.
find,
Hey, Tony, or
yeah.
Matt Diamante, Diamante.
Yep.
And they'll find your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, and all the links to be able to follow you. That's great.
Yeah.
And one last thing from me today for the audience that visited with us, thank you for being live. For those that are hearing this on the recording, we did mention there's a couple of plugins that you can use to help with answering questions. I know we didn't cover this yet, but If you follow Matt, he talks about the blogging and how to structure your blogs and so forth and so on. Actually shares AI prompts that you could use to help you with it. And the plugin I'm referring to is available. It's called My Content Creator Pro by Chad Portnov and Mike Murphy. If you want to make sure you're answering the question, it's a great plugin to be able to add that to the blog post so that you get found on AI as well as Google. Okay, just DM me and I'll send you the link. I'm not an associate. I'm not a, whatever we call it. Went brain dead because I'm so loaded with so many things I was thinking about. But yeah, just DM me and I'll give you the exact link and stuff, and you can get on that and add that to your WordPress sites and make it work for you. Thank you so much, Matt. God bless you. I really do appreciate you. And I hope that everybody say goodbye to Matt all at once, unmute your things, and we'll all say goodbye and we'll end this recording and look forward to hearing from all of you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Ready to take your online business to the next level? Subscribe to our digital marketing podcast and then join our Accountability for Success Mastermind. With expert advice from industry leaders, you'll gain knowledge and insights that will help you succeed in today's digital marketing world. From social media strategies to search engine optimization, we have all the tools you need. Learn from successful entrepreneurs and take control of your online success. Join the Accountability for Success Mastermind now at bit.ly/AFSM podcast.